blockage of this particular concert. So to break that down and to understand what will be the next move of action is the council right here. You're welcome to the show.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So tell us, what are the plans moving forward? Do you think you're going to get clearance for this, petitioning police for to be allowed to conduct a peaceful protest in Kampala? Will that pass?
First of all, I think to give a clear perspective to this, we need to look at the chronology of events and some other aspects. That yesterday's events are not isolated events. Bobi Wine has been a singer for over 20 years now. And for all those years, there has not been any undue interference from any state agency. But in 2017, especially around the time when the country was debating removal of age limit from the constitution, and because of the stance that he took, the government of Uganda, through police force, since that time has tried to stop him from conducting any music shows. Around 2017, he was stopped on several occasions, incurred a lot of costs, which prompted him to file a case in the High Court of Uganda. To date, no decision has been given. Around last year, towards the end of last year, especially you remember the confusion surrounding the Charenga album launch. Nambole and these other places in Gulu, in Masaka and everywhere. Police again acted unlawfully and stopped him from conducting these music shows. We filed a petition to the Uganda Human Rights Commission. To date, no decision has been reached. The events of yesterday were seen by all Ugandans. On NTV covered it very well. I need to indicate that police conducted itself in a very unlawful and illegal way. First of all, Bobi Wine owns One Love Beach of Sabala. His shows, having been stopped illegally by police, decided to go and hold a press conference from One Love Beach of Sabala. Now, if I want to hold a press conference, I can hold it at my home, I can hold it at rented premises like a hotel, I can hold it at my business premises. It should also be noted that One Love Beach of Sabala is the home of Firebase Entertainment, which is the music label under which Bobi Wine performs. And he was stopped from holding this press conference. So, like he announced yesterday, today he will be delivering a notification to Uganda Police Force, and he has encouraged all Ugandans that have been victims of injustice to head to the respective police authorities in their areas to deliver notification of the intention to hold peaceful demonstrations protesting against brutality from Uganda Police Force, against unconstitutional behavior of Uganda Police Force, their biased approach, and all that kind of thing. So today that's what he's going to be doing, delivering that notification.
Counsel, let me ask you this before we go to David. We all know that, you know, and you rightfully said this, that time and again he's being blocked from holding concerts, I mean musical concerts. So this time round it's a protest, a petition to be allowed to conduct a peaceful protest. Are you not being unreasonable? Of course, with the turn of events, historically, even a concert, musical concert, has been blocked. What of a protest then?
Well, certainly, we are alive to the fact that police will try again unconstitutionally stop this. But the duty of every law-abiding citizen of Uganda, including Bobi Wine, including myself, and those Ugandans that are watching, and you, if you also believe that you have a duty under the Constitution, to make sure that you protect the provisions of the Constitution of Uganda. And this we must do through lawful means. And lawful means including what we have been doing, going to court, going to Uganda Human Rights Commission, but also conducting lawful and peaceful demonstrations. So what we are now calling upon people, what he's calling upon people to do is also provided for under the law. And then we must also be alive to the fact that much as we are fighting this injustice, we must do so in accordance with the law. That is why he's going to notify. The ball is in the police's court to either respect his rights by not interfering with his enjoyment of right to protest and demonstrate, or to violate it like they have been doing. But of course, that one, I'm sure he has plans of how to go about that.
All right.
You mentioned law-abiding citizen in your statements, and at the same time, you say it's time for police to respect. Would you say that Bobi Wine is a law-abiding citizen because he has officially been told the concert is not going to happen? Why are you holding a press conference over a concert that is not going to happen? Lawfully, you have been told, or unlawfully, you have been told the concert is not going to happen. Where is the law-abiding citizenship in him to go ahead? And where is the respect in him? Because you see, when you're asking the police to respect him, he has to respect the police. So where is his respect in going ahead with a press conference over a show that has been cancelled?
What makes the actions of an individual lawful or unlawful are not pronouncements of police or anybody, but the Constitution of Uganda and other laws of Uganda. And I can state without any fear of contradiction that Bobi Wine has not been in breach of any law. If police makes unlawful pronouncements, we are not under duty to follow them. You are only under duty to follow what is provided for under the law.
Okay. Now, with what happened yesterday, we all know, you have seen the headline today in the Daily Monitor, military report Bobi under house arrest on the same day that he's planning to deliver papers. How are you going to beat this?
That shouldn't be a problem. We'll find a way of delivering the notification.
It shouldn't be a problem.
Yes, but we can state and confirm what Daily Monitor has reported, that at least to the best of my knowledge, because I interacted with the commander of the troops that are deployed around Bobi Wine's home yesterday evening and asked if he was under house arrest. And the commander indicated to me, in company of other people, that he was under restrictions not to leave his home. By implication, that means house arrest. However, I also need to indicate that formally that has not been communicated to him, so he's at liberty to leave.
Let me ask you a question. Have you have talked to the commander? Have you asked on why, if Bobi Wine was arrested in Busavala, why he was taken to Magere and not to a police cell?
Because they know he didn't break any law.
So this is just taking a man home.
This is just abuse of power and use of security forces like police to do politics. Because if he has committed an offense, why not take him? Why not charge him? Why do you carry him from Busabar and take him to his home?
Counsel, we know that...
Is his home a gazetted place of detention? No.
All right, Counsel, we know that whatever Bobi Wine does, he's prudent enough to seek the counsel of, lawyers like you who guide him on what to do, what not to do. And with regards to this, him wanting to petition police to conduct a peaceful protest, I'm sure this is something that he's gotten clearance from chops like you, his lawyer, so to speak. So if the police says, no, we are overturning this request, we will not grant you this request, what then will be the next point of action?
The notification to Uganda Police under the Public Order Management Act of 2013 is not a request for clearance, but a notification that we are going, this is what I'm going to do, and it's within the boundaries of the law, and I'm notifying you to provide security and ensure that there is no breach of public order and safety.
If
and that
they
is
decline,
clearly what is doing.
If they decline,
they will be doing it illegally. And the role of Ugandans is to reject illegal and unconstitutional orders.
So what's your
So
plan?
he will continue rejecting this and through all the avenues that are lawful.
Mr. Katana, it looks like you are looking at every single thing that you know the police won't allow you to do, and you're going for exactly that.
No.
Because let us be honest, under that same act is how Bobi Wine ended up being, let's not say arrested, but transferred from Busabala to Magere. It's under the same act that now you're seeking permission. Not seeking permission, informing them and asking them to provide protection.
Our duty as his lawyers, or his duty as a citizen, is not to speculate as to whether police will clear him or not.
He has to keep
his
trying.
His duty is to notify police of his intended actions. It is now the duty of police to respect his rights under the law.
Yesterday, while he was addressing his supporters and the press that were at his home, he claims that his cars have been confiscated by the police.
True.
And because of that, he will now walk.
True.
Can't you drive him?
I'm not under duty.
You're his lawyer.
But I'm not his driver.
Can't you lend him your car?
Yes, but I'm not under duty, and he has to request. So if he has not requested,
but as his lawyer, why are you letting your clients walk all the way?
But he has no
from
problem with walking, and it is a form of protest, probably. One thing that I can say is that unlawful, illegitimate laws world over, and since time immemorial, have been protested against, have been rejected. From the history of civil rights movement in the US, from the history of the fight against apartheid in South Africa. For your information, apartheid was lawful but illegitimate. So Bobi Wine and any Ugandan who feels that police is illegally putting in place what you would call roadblocks to enable certain people achieve politically against those that have a different line of thought. Bobi Wine and those who think like that have a duty to reject it through all the possible lawful means.
All right.
Let me ask, don't you feel that police has a reason to stop Bobi Wine? Because they will say he has been inciting all the concerts that he has been able to have. There has been a bit of not the usual concerts that we have.
Yeah, first of all,
there has been a political attachment to those concerts.
First of all, is it illegal to make political statements? It's not. In fact, in one of the letters from police, they indicated that these shows have previously been motivated by politics. But what is unlawful about politics? In fact, that statement, in a way, reflects the motivation of the conduct of police. That they are not out to defend the law, to protect the law. You remember the motto of police is protect and serve. They are not out to serve Ugandans and protect Ugandans, but they are out to help an individual or a group to achieve political goals by stopping these shows, which in itself is unconstitutional. It is abuse of authority by the leadership of Uganda Police Force. And remember, when the current leadership of Uganda Police Force was coming to office, they made a declaration to Ugandans that their tenure of office would mark restoration of rule of law. I think now
which Bobi Wine
the jury is out. The jury is out on that.
What's your end goal? Do you want police? What's the this protest that you're planning? What is that? What do you hope to achieve with this protest?
But
do you want to acceptance of these concerts? Do you want acceptance of Bobi Wine to be at concerts? Or do you want the president yesterday said meanwhile he's not going to be giving you guys any money because some concerts have been cancelled and you people are seeking some monies after that 2 billion given out. Are you seeking
is that a direct admission by the president that he has become the
what do you see?
Gentlemen, we seem to be hammering a lot on the police. Let's get to listen what the police had to say. And we do have Afande Patrick Onyango, of course, on record. Let's take a look.
Yes, these people are still mobilizing. They are still advertising that their show is going to take place. Despite our earlier warning and letters that were issued to them, they insisted that the show is going to take place. So we had to deploy, to prevent and to deter people from going to the show, since it had already been stopped and explained elaborately by Director Operations and Mr. Enanga. So that's why you saw the deployment which was there. It was just purposely for that. If a police officer has come to you and says, please stop your unlawful activities, or please, you are not supposed to do this and this, or you are under arrest, abide by that. Don't lock yourself in the car, because the law allows us to use reasonable force to subdue you. So if you lock yourself in the car, we shall use reasonable force to subdue you. No, because they insisted that they are going to go ahead with their show, with whatever they are planning. We simply picked them and we took them at home, and we are counseling them. We are just counseling them. After counseling them, we want them to be law-abiding citizens.
Council Katana, your view on this?
I think it is actually
just wants to keep you safe and help you to be law-abiding citizens. Why are you denying this?
It is police that requires counseling, because they need to be reminded of their duty. They need to be reminded that politics is not for police officers but for politicians, and their job is to protect and serve Ugandans. They need to be reminded that the public is only under duty to obey and respect lawful orders. I saw the police officer talking about lawful orders, and our take is that these orders were unlawful, because first of all, even what is calling the cancellation from the Direct Operations Uganda Police Force, he does not have any legal basis upon which to cancel such events. First of all, the organizers of the event notified Uganda Police Force, and Uganda Police Force responded and said put in place ABC. The organizers put in place all that had been communicated to them as requirements to be put in place. On the eve of the event, another unfounded and illegal letter comes from police force that don't hold the show. And our question is, where does police derive such powers from?
Exactly, and that's my point. So I'll ask you this. Do you think that police has moved to being a partisan unit?
Certainly, without a doubt.
Then, don't you think that as, members of opposition, lawyers who are advising, so to speak, Robert Chagulanyi Honorable, are fighting a lost battle, so to speak? If police has time and again proven to be, like you say, and I'll quote you, unlawful in their actions, then don't you think this is a game that has already been lost?
Well, it always appears a lost game until it appears to every reasonable person that it's not a lost game. And I think history is littered with precedents of police force and other security agencies world over that have tried to suppress the population and citizens of the respective countries to enable the ruling individuals to retain power. But in the end, the people win. And this has happened world over.
What's your plan with regards to making sure that the police, they promise that there will be law-abiding citizens as well, as much as their police, What is the plan, your plan as, a team of councils, to ensure that this police moving forward then, act within the law?
For us as the lawyers have done what is required. We have gone to court. No decision has been made. We have gone to Uganda Human Rights Commission. No decision has been made. And justice delayed is justice denied.
Correct.
Our client has made his intentions known yesterday on how he intends now to challenge the unjust conduct of police and other security agencies. That is for the politicians, and the politicians have made an indication. Our duty and role has been to show him that this is what the law provides, and that's what he's calling upon Ugandans who believe like him, that now that the other avenues have been exhausted to no avail, let's use this last option to engage with the people in power and leadership, maybe. I don't know if it is leadership or just power, and assert our rights and freedoms. And that is well guaranteed under the Constitution of Uganda and all the international conventions that talk about human rights.
You call it the last option. So if this last option fails, what next?
It cannot. The people never fail.
All right.
It can take long, but it's never forever. When the black South Africans were fighting against apartheid, the government of the day had Air Force, had ground forces, had police, had canine force, and all sorts of things that were used to subdue the black South Africans. But in the end, they won. The civil rights movement in the US and world over.
Right.
Remember, there was a time when blacks could not vote. There was a time when women could not vote. But all these have been overturned, not because of the generosity of those in power, but because the population, the citizens, have always asserted their rights and freedoms.
So your next resolve is to ensure that you work hand in hand with the citizens to articulate. All
the
right.
politicians have already made the announcement. Mine is to give it a legal perspective.
Okay, my last question to you, of course, David will table his, is that the last tweet that Honorable Chagulanyi, posted on Twitter, just the eve of this particular concert, that's the day before yesterday, he said, the last sentence, we shall not sit and watch our rights continue to be violated. We shall resist this impunity. My question is, what angle will you advise him to take moving forward with regards to him fighting this impunity, as he calls it, keeping in mind that he's still the same man who is facing treason charges?
Well, what we have talked about, the calling upon the citizens of Uganda, including himself, including you, if you feel that, by the way, that duty is not restricted to him, to me, or to anybody, but calling upon all those people who feel that there is injustice in this country to stand up in one voice and reject the impunity. This impunity is not restricted to stopping Bobi Wine's show. You see it every day on the roads. You see it every day when you visit what you would call centers of justice, like police cells and what have you. You see it every day when people are being unlawfully evicted from their land and houses and homes. You see it every day when the wrong people are being subjected to frivolous charges like the one you have talked about of treason. So there are several ways through which Ugandans are being subjected to injustice. And he's called all those because it may not be you today, but tomorrow it will be you. In 2011, Bobi Wine was never arrested. In 2016, he was never arrested. But now he's being arrested. Tomorrow it might be Rukasi. So why should you wait for your turn to come before you stand with those that are victims of injustice to say no to injustice and impunity? So that is now what we have advised him, that, well, our advice is that protests are provided for under the Constitution of Uganda. They are provided for under the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. They are provided for under all laws under the sun. There is no law that takes away that. So, and we hope that police will have the sense this time around to follow the law and not illegitimate and unlawful orders.
You say that this last resort, the one that you're going for, won't fail.
That's what he communicated. Yes.
Won't fail. So what do you hope to achieve with this last resort that is not going to fail? Are you looking to topple the government? Are you looking to get the IGP fired? Are you looking to getting the spokesman fired? The police changing uniform? What is it that you're looking for?
I think the cause is bigger than having a spokesperson fired. It is bigger than having an IGP fired. It is bigger than having a regime change. It is about restoration of rule of law. It is about restoration of justice. It is about bringing an end to impunity. It's about bringing an end to abuse of authority in Uganda. Regime change may not achieve that. We have had several regime changes in this country, but that has not been achieved. We have had regime change in other countries, but that has not been achieved. So maybe that might be part of the bigger scheme, but it may be necessitated. But also the leaders of the day and the law enforcement officers may choose to, like Saul in the Bible, when he realized that what he had been doing was wrong, that they can have their Damascus now and turn to and choose the path of justice. They can choose the path of respecting people's rights. That's what we intend to achieve. It's not about the individual. It's not about small gains like firing an IGP. The IGP changes today, and the one who will come will also go ahead to enforce unlawful orders. So it's about restoration of justice. In the current leadership of police and government of Uganda, this may be their Damascus. They may turn away from their sinful ways and respect the rule of law and respect justice.
Wow.
Interesting. So as we come to a close, last question, and we did pose this question to a political analyst that we were hosting yesterday, Dr. Kakungulu Mayambala. Do you feel, because by and large, what Honorable Chagulanyi is, battling and seems not to, get a win, so to speak, is because the Constitution somewhat is not to 100%. Well, there are amendments here and there, but in piecemeal. Do you feel there's need for the country to go to a referendum to overhaul completely the Constitution?
You see, we may overhaul the Constitution. We may retain the Constitution. But provided there is no goodwill from the leadership to propagate constitutionalism, it will only be a process.
Okay.
It will only be form. You'll have an overhaul, you'll have institutions in place, but provided the leadership of the day is not interested in constitutionalism, it will be another phase. When we promulgated the 1995 Constitution of Uganda, it was heralded as a very progressive constitution that would restore rule of law and democracy in Uganda. But Ugandans can now judge whether that has been achieved or not. So it largely takes the willingness of the leadership. It is important to have very strong and stringent provisions of the law and the state institutions. But you see, when you have a leader who does not believe in constitutionalism, he will undermine these institutions. And the institutions will not be able to perform their duties very well.
Council Benjamin Katana, thank you very much for coming to this morning, giving us an insight on what is happening in Bobi Wine's camp. Of course, that's after a joint siege of Bobi Wine by military and police over protests against continued blockage of his music concerts. That's the conversation we'll be having this morning on Kickstarter. I know it's a topic of discussion on social media, so if you want to fall in as well and share your opinions course, you can do that. The hashtag is morning@ntv on Twitter, on Facebook. Follow it as well. Give us your opinions, your take on what Council Katana here has shared on the planned, what they hope to achieve with the planned protests, and how they are going to go about it as well. That's the conversation we've had today, this morning. Thank you very much, Council Katana. Please make sure you don't put your client at risk because he's your client. When he's gone, I might not come to you because
we hope that the Uganda Police Force and other security agencies know that things change, so they should respect the rule of law, so that tomorrow when they are not in those offices, the law will protect them.
Wow. Okay. Very defiant.
Thank you.
Council Katana. Good morning. Morning at NTV continues.